countdown. You ready? Yeah.
Good morning.
What is up, people?
What's up? I'm glad you guys are here Friday morning.
Yes.
We got a wonderful show for today. We've got a football player who is blind, believe it or not. We got a great devotion. What else we got?
Dude, can I say that I'm excited? About this show.
Yes.
The shows seem to be getting better and better. What we need you to do is keep commenting and keep sharing down below because we are growing exponentially.
Yes.
Exponentially.
We only grow when you guys subscribe, comment, and share.
Yeah.
So please do all that below. We got a wonderful show coming up. I'm Mark.
I'm Paul.
This is Beyond Limits.
Boom.
Beyond Limits Films present. A positive, motivating, real news, fun, interactive, prize-winning, gift-giving podcast. Start your mornings with the guys. Welcome to Beyond Limits.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm glad you guys are starting your Friday morning off with us. It's
Boom!
the start to a great weekend.
Yes.
How was your week?
My week was great.
Yeah, good.
We've lined up some awesome guests. We've got a guy coming on today, like we said, Will Lambley. We can't wait for that. He's going to be Skyping in here in just a little bit. His story is amazing. But today is National Day.
Today is National Day. National Power Rangers Day.
All right, guys, let's see what this baby can do.
I love it. I used to watch Power Rangers probably every day after school.
Yeah. So I've got a confession to make to you and to all of y'all. I have never seen one full episode. Don't shake your head like that in disdain.
Producer Macy's shaking her
Producer
head.
Macy's. I've never seen one full episode of Power Rangers.
Paul, can I be honest with you about something?
Yes.
I think
Today is a show of honesty.
I think that's going to change our relationship a little bit.
Do you like me less or more?
It's not more. So we got to fix this.
Well, friend,
We'll fix it.
we've only just begun.
We've only just begun.
We'll only just begun. Yeah, I
That's
like
Carpenters.
it. Yeah, I like it.
Who remembers the? My mom loved the Carpenters.
Right? Did you have it on a vinyl record?
So 8-track, dude,
Oh,
bro.
wow.
8-track. That's
8-track. Yes.
she's no clue.
People are googling what 8-track is right
Yeah,
now.
so-
Not the older.
Can you
people, but,
imagine? It's like CDs ain't even a thing
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
8-track.
Oh,
But
see,
yeah, so the
well,
Carpenters.
Yeah.
Who'd have
Yeah.
thought?
That's crazy. But so, National Power Rangers Day.
Yeah, that was
I had a crush on the pink one, Kimberly.
Kimberly, the pink one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I don't even know why. I don't know. I just never.
Never,
I don't know.
Sat down and watched the whole
Never know
thing.
why we
I
never
used to watch
did.
it. Or Saturday mornings maybe it came on. Anyway, I know I used to watch
Power
like,
Rangers.
like
Did y'all watch Power
They
Rangers?
even had a movie that came on.
Nah.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, comment below. Did you watch the Power Rangers? Which was your favorite Power Ranger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know.
Hey, if you're new to our page right now, there's some things that's going to be happening over the next month that we've been working out
Exciting
this week.
things.
Exciting things.
Yes.
We've signed on State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
That's going to be one of the sponsors of the show. So now we've got Kinston Dental, State Farm, SEI Technologies, ASAP Photo. The list is growing. But what we want to do is, if you go back and look, and we'll probably repost it, we want to do more surprise videos. We want to be popping at least 2 of those a month where we're just showing up and helping y'all out and doing random things. Like you don't know where you're going to find
Acts
us.
of kindness.
Act of Random Kindness. It was
yeah.
from a movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you just came up with that.
No.
I was impressed. See, we were working better on the liking you more, and then you just kind of you raised the bar, but then you lowered it right back down.
Yes. Yeah.
I tell that to producer Macy all the time. She raises the bar up
That's
all
because,
the time.
Okay,
and then-
listen. Let's work past the smoking. There's a green line around Mark right now that you probably didn't notice till right this very second. It's because there's a green screen here. That's going to be changing too.
Right.
But, like, Macy had everything just perfect.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't.
Right.
But then she worked it back together.
Yeah.
Y'all got to meet her sometime. She's over here and it's really cool.
Right.
I'm excited.
We'll do a surprise guest one time.
Yeah, with Macy. I'll accidentally leave the other camera on.
That'd be awesome.
But so like, share, subscribe. Make
Right.
sure you click that follow button so you can see where we're gonna be. If we just happen to pop up at Target one day giving away money or something.
These
These guys are awesome, right? They've been calculating math. Matt, Mike, even Brittany. Brittany was number 7.
Number 7.
They had to go to aisle 7. It all came together. Thanks, guys. Y'all rock. You're going to want to know that. It'll be on our story. So make
Right.
sure you follow the page.
And we can only do that if you follow, have your friends follow,
Yeah.
have your friends' friends follow. Heck,
like
have your
that.
friends' friends.
Friends.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Have them all follow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we look forward to meeting you. We look forward to growing with y'all. This is going to be a thing. We are excited because
Yes. We got
we
a
are.
wonderful. Yeah. So your week was good.
week was great. How was yours?
Mine was good too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. A
Was
lot of
good.
work. It was fun.
Yeah.
A lot of hours away from home, but it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah, you were out late last night.
Yeah, that's all right though. It happens.
Happens.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Brandon
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Yes.
The JLD, we call him the JLD because he is the Jesus Loving Dentist, has done an incredible job on the devotion today.
Right.
Phenomenal. He curtails the devotions we're doing to the guests that we're having if we have a guest on. And this one's great. It's wonderful. You want
Right.
to get started?
Yeah. Our devotion. Well, yeah. Let's start out. Let's do it first thing this morning.
Yeah.
That way they can start the Friday morning off strong. Right. So
awesome.
taking the bad and using it for good.
Taking the bad and using it for good.
Right. And this will make a lot more sense once we Skype in our guest. for
Yeah,
today.
Will. So Will's going to be Skyping in as soon as we're done with this. And I want y'all, when we're Skyping with Will, when we're talking with Will, remember this devotion. It's not just for him. This is for everybody out there. We don't know what you're going through. Some of y'all may be going through some rough patches, or some of y'all are just having the time of your life. You're on a mountaintop. This devotion is applicable to everybody who watches it. It doesn't really matter what season you're in right now. It's going to mean something more to some people other than others. But we hope that you're able to take it and use it for yourself and apply it to your lives.
Right. That or
Yeah.
at least share it with somebody and inspire them.
Yeah.
Right.
Ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So this is called Taking the Bad and Using It for Good. Brandon Nicholson, you killed it. This one is awesome. If you're just joining us for the first time, we read them like a monologue because these devotions were so good that we were leaving parts out.
Right.
And we'd go back after the show. We'd be like, man, we missed this really cool part, and wish we would have got it out there because somebody may have needed to hear that exact part. So now we read them like a monologue, and they are on point. And then we talk about them
And sometimes
afterwards.
we break off into tangents. Every
We
once in a while.
often break off into tangents.
It's kind of what we do.
And then we do a
Right.
high five. And then a unicorn appears and there's a
Right.
rainbow. And it's fun for everybody involved.
Right.
Let's be honest. All things are not good. In the world, we got sickness and disease. They're not good. Death is not good. Violence and war are not good. Evil is not good. Addiction is not good. The list can go on and on that describes the things that are not good and broken in this fallen world. We could spend a whole lot of time discussing why there are so many bad things happening in the world. But if that remains our focus, we might miss out on what God is trying to show us in the midst of those circumstances. Instead, let's turn our attention to what God can do with those bad experiences to bring about some good.
In Romans 8:28, he says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose."
Yeah.
Most of you listening are probably at least mildly familiar with that verse. It's a very common verse to quote when you hear about someone going through a tough situation. It's a comforting passage of scripture to hear when you are personally in the midst of a trial or struggling to make sense of a tragedy. Taking all that into account, let's dig a little deeper and discover a deeper meaning.
Yeah, first of all, the verse starts with, "And we know." This gives us a bit of certainty of what we are about to read. By reading that phrase at the beginning of the passage, we can be sure that what follows is absolute truth. That's followed by "in all things." Not just some things or a few things, but in all things. What the Apostle Paul is conveying here is that the truth that we are about to read applies to all things. This absolute truth that he's about to present applies to all things. It doesn't just apply to a few instances. It is universal.
Next, we read that God works for the good. This is the heart of the passage.
Yes.
God is about bringing out the good from every situation, no matter the circumstance. God can turn anything around for the good. No matter how awful the situation may seem, God can and will derive good from it. From what we have looked at so far, we can see that we have an absolute certainty about the fact that God, the creator of the universe, will take all situations, no matter how terrible, and use them to bring out good.
That's good. I love that. I'm not going to go on a tangent, but there's significance in that.
I can see in your eyes you
Like
want to.
this part of my brain, is it the right side of your brain controls the left
so,
and the
yeah.
left?
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like both sides are like tangent. Just do it. Just do it.
it.
That's good stuff. This is a promise that he makes to his people. And it sounds awesome, right? Let's continue reading. Up next, we have the qualifier for the promise. Of those that love him. This truth has a condition. You must love God to claim this promise. If you are not a lover of God, this promise may not apply to you. If you do not love God, all things may not work out for your good. And that can be a tough pill to swallow. It doesn't matter how many verses of the Bible you can quote, how much money you give to the church, how much you serve, or how well you preach. If you do not love God, you cannot claim the promise.
Finally, we come to the last part of the verse. Who have been called according to his purpose. What is that about? Let's review it really quick. We understand that God will work all things, even the most horrible of things, out for the good of those that love him. We understand that you have to be a lover of God to receive this promise. So what is this talk about promise? This is what it all boils down to.
To explain it a little bit further, let's read the next verse. In this passage, to get us a little more context, Romans 8:29 says, "For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son." And there it is. The purpose for all of this is to be changed, to be conformed, to be looking more and more like Jesus. The purpose for trials, the purpose for the hard times, the purpose for those tragedies. That's the good that God will bring about of every situation. To become more and more like our Savior, Jesus Christ, is what God is working out for us.
To sum it all up, let's look at what this verse is not saying. This verse does not say that God will work all things out for your good according to what you want to happen.
Yeah.
No, this verse says that God will work out all things good for his purpose, and his purpose is to shape you to become more like his Son. The good that you want to happen may not happen in your for your goodness. The situation may not work out the way that you hope it would. However, it is an absolute certainty that it will work out in a way to help conform you to the image of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Really quick, let's look at a couple of stories from the Bible. And for those who grew up in church, you'd be like, man, I get that. But don't worry, if you're just tuning in for the first time and you don't even know what church is, or you've never really heard the name of God and a friend has referenced you here, you're going to immediately get this, and it's going to take 5 minutes of searching for you to look these out. You'll be like, wow, this makes no sense. How have I missed this my whole life? But really quick, let's look back into the Old Testament and some other stories for how this happens. Joseph was left for dead. In the Old Testament, Joseph was left for dead, sold as a slave, convicted of a crime that he did not commit, and thrown in prison to rot. However, he trusted and loved God all the way through the process, even though it wasn't fair. And God made him into a ruler of Egypt. Not only that, the entire Hebrew line was preserved because of the trials that Joseph endured.
The most amazing instance where God was able to turn something bad into good involves Jesus. God was able to use the most horrific event in human history to bring about the ultimate good. The most horrific event was the death of God on a cross, and through his death, he saved the entire world from sin. The ultimate good is the salvation of all mankind. I gotta read that again.
Do it!
That is important.
Do it, Marcos!
The ultimate good is the salvation of all mankind. If God can do that, he can take your bad situation and use it for good.
That's good stuff. In just a few minutes, you're going to meet a young man who is a prime example of how God is bringing about good from a bad situation. His name is Will, and he contracted a rare eye disease that has left him legally blind, and it happened last year. Even with all the odds stacked against him, he continues to play football, and from what we gather, gives God all the glory.
His attitude and drive to continue living his life to the best of his ability is changing people's perspective on everything.
Yeah.
It's bringing people closer to Christ, and that, my friends, is very good in what we're here for today. Through Will, God is using his trial to bring salvation to other people. to close it all out, we just want to say that God has you right where He wants you. Your situation may look bleak. It may seem far. The light may seem very dim. You may not feel like there's any way out of the valley that you are in, but I tell you that God has not forgotten about you. You may feel that there is no way that God can bring good out of your circumstances. We want to encourage you today with that from Romans 8:28.
Yeah. No matter what you're going through, God is there for you. God can and will take your situation and bring about good, no matter how bad things may seem. This good that He will and may bring about might look a little bit different than you expected, but it will be a good that is way beyond your wildest dreams. What a devotion.
What a devotion.
What a devotion.
I think that's a very strong message.
I love it.
Very strong message.
And it looks different. It looks different for everybody.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know.
I mean, someone else is high, maybe someone else is low.
Yes.
And vice versa. I mean, but you're right.
Yep.
I think it's very important that people don't forget, even, and I think the guest from our last show, right? Maddie and her parents, they talked about how, he was at the end of his, at his pond praying and just saying, what else, have you forgotten about me? And no, never will God forget about you.
Yeah.
You may forget about Him.
Yeah.
But He will never forget about you. I mean, it says it all in that good book, Lots of times, humans, as mankind, right?
Yeah.
We fail that book.
Keep it going, man.
Right. But that book will never, ever fail us.
Yeah.
It's all, the greatest set of plans are laid out in that book.
Yeah.
Just got to follow it.
Yeah. One thing I like about the Bible is this. It's raw. Right. It doesn't give you the best parts of Moses and Joseph and, Paul. It gives you when Paul was chasing down Christians to have them murdered. Okay, like that's not a pretty picture if you're reading the Bible, but it's raw and it's true. So you can look back and say, I see this part of Paul that it doesn't look great. He messed up. He did some bad things, and then you see him meet God. You see him meet the real, true God on the road to Damascus, and this transformation takes place, and it's wonderful because God was able to take. He was blind. This is random that we're on this one, but Paul was actually blind for a period of days, where the Bible says scales were over his eyes, and he was blind from meeting Jesus. He was blind for a period of time, and so I can imagine just being there in that situation. Will is currently walking in that situation, but we look at that, and the Bible is raw like that. It doesn't just give us the good parts of people. Often, when we show up at church, it feels, and this is horrible, a church is not a place for perfect people. A church is a place for sinners to go to a perfect God. And if your church has presented it as anything other than that, then that's not good. That's not a good thing. Right. Because we've all sinned. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. Look at what happens after Paul he even has this transformation. He still calls himself the chiefest of sinners. I mean, once you recognize the gravity of the sin that you're in, and you are striving so much to reach and be like Jesus, to be the image of God. I mean, it is awesome. That's the point in this whole process that we're going through. It's a wonderful devotion.
I love it.
To be able to use those faults. Moses had a speech impediment. Right. He couldn't talk well, and he tells it to God. It's in the Bible. He puts it in the Bible.
And I mean, it just gives you all the good, the bad, the ugly, and at the end of the day, we're all saved.
I love it.
As long as you love Him.
Yes. You have to love and accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. That's it. No matter what you have done, no matter what you're going to, those future sins are washed away. And that is one of the most important things, because Christians can get down there like, I have done too much. Well, then you just don't understand the totality of what Christ went through on the cross. You don't fully get it if you think you've done too much, because you haven't, friends. Right. You haven't. That God says, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. All.
That's right. Just like all mankind.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Jesus Christ bridged the gap from sin to God, and He was the only one that could do it. The law couldn't do it. Jesus Christ was the only thing that could do, the only person that could do it. And it's amazing. It is amazing for people to be able to go through bad things, cancer, whatever diagnosis it is, blindness, and be able to go through that and give God the glory, so that when people see Will, like we're about to see in a little bit, they don't see Will. They see God using a person who is in the midst of bad circumstances. Right. And they can see Jesus Christ. They can see Jesus Christ through his actions.
That's it, using us as his instruments.
Can we get to Will?
Let's do it. Let's get to Will.
I'm excited.
Producer Macy, let's bring on Will. We're going to show a video of what Will has gone through.
Yes.
It's a little, not too long.
Yeah.
Once we come back from that, we'll have Will live with us.
Yep. This is Will. Check him out.
My name is Will Lambley, and this is my story. So I've grown up in Owasso, Oklahoma my whole life. Always been involved in sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, and football. Baseball has always been my love, and I've been playing competitive baseball since I was 7. When I was in 9th grade, I started school at Rejoice, and from the second I got there, I just loved everything about it. Just the environment where they put God first, and they can incorporate God in sports. It's just really special what they do. In my freshman year, I was still staying involved in sports, playing basketball, baseball, and football. Going into my sophomore year, I just turned 16 in July and was able to drive, and I was really excited about that because I was finally able to hang out with my friends more and just drive around, and that was a really good time. I've grown up in church my whole life, always gone to Central, and I came to Christ when I was in 2nd grade at this thing called Kids for Christ, and I just felt God tugging on my heart that day whenever the pastor was talking. His name was Ryan Golightly, and I accepted Christ that day, and ever since then, I always knew who God was. I knew the story and everything. I believed it, but I wasn't always running towards God. I was more focused on myself, and it wasn't until some stuff happened that I really realized I just really need God, and I can't do this life without Him. I remember the game like it was yesterday. We were playing Christian Heritage, and we were going throughout the game, and I started to realize my vision got blurry out of nowhere, and I started looking up at the scoreboard, and I realized I couldn't tell what the score was, so I started to ask some of my friends. They started having to tell me during the game, and during this time I was still playing receiver, outside linebacker, and a little bit of special teams. I was really just kind of confused. And then I ended up going to a local eye doctor the next day in Owasso, because me and my dad just thought it was like just something simple, you know, just like new prescription or something. And they had no idea what was going on. I started going to eye doctor after eye doctor, and they didn't know what was going on. All my central vision was gone, and I could just see peripherally a little bit, and the only way I could tell someone was coming is if like I heard their voice or something. Throughout this time, I started getting really discouraged and questioning God. And I remember there was a time where I asked God, like, can I just like not have arms and legs? And I just want to be able to see again. This is like something you do like in a Bible story or something. Like, this doesn't seem like real life. Like, why would you do this to me? I finally got an answer whenever I went to Johns Hopkins, which is in Bethesda, Maryland. And they're one of the best eye clinics in the whole nation. And after about 2 hours there, they figured out what was going on. It was called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. It's a very rare eye condition, and going into this eye appointment, I just felt a certain peace because of all the prayers everyone was praying for me. And my mindset changed from God, can you just change the situation, to God, can you change me as I go throughout this situation? And whenever I heard the result, I just knew that no matter what happened, God was gonna use the situation. And I remember just texting my friends saying, this is what I have, but it's gonna be okay. So when I got back to school and everything, my football coach pulled me in his office, and he just wanted to pray for me, because for him, he cares more about you as a person than anything you do on the football field. And one thing I just felt God was telling me was no matter what, I can still play football since I can no longer play baseball, which has always been my favorite sport. And God's pretty much telling me you have an opportunity to still play football. There was a kid for USC who was completely blind and still played. His name was Jake Olson, who has inspired me a lot. And if he can do it, I can do it. A verse that always sticks with me throughout this time is Jeremiah 29:11, which states, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, the plans to prosper and not to harm you, the plans to give you hope and a future." This verse just shows me that no matter what God throws at me, that vision or no vision, I can still glorify Him, and everything works for the good of God. You just got to give Him a little faith. And I'm not saying every day is going to be good, because to this day I still have bad days, you know. But God shows Himself in those bad days. If I give Him a little faith, He's really humbled me a lot and shown me that life isn't about sport. It's about just honoring Him in everything you do.
All right, so Beyond Limits family, a few things have changed since we just cut the cameras off a second
Just
ago.
a couple things.
Just a couple of things. One,
Just a couple. It's fine.
Mark, y'all are zoomed in all up on my face right now because Mark had baby duty. Mark, what's going on?
The wife had some work calls and stuff she had to make, so I had to run home and take care of the baby in case she gets up.
Amelia.
That way she can concentrate on her work this morning. So, yeah, baby Amelia, baby daddy duty here.
Yeah, so baby Amelia is sleeping. That's good. That's wonderful.
Yeah, hopefully she sleeps this entire segment. If she gets up, then I may have to excuse myself. If that happens, then I love you guys. And Will and Paul will take it from here and be great. But I will try and be on as much as I can.
But you love being alive more than anything, and if the baby cries and your wife has to tend to it. Well,
Right.
yeah.
Happy wife is a happy life.
Yeah. We want to, Beyond Limits family, we want to welcome Mr. Rand, Miss Melissa, and Will Lamley right now to the show. Guys, it is amazing to have y'all here. We want to thank Rejoice Church and We Start Churches for making this connection possible. Casey Carricker over there made this link. Will has got an incredible story that we're about to walk through. If you're a member or a fan of the Beyond Limits page, then you kind of know what we're about to talk about. But Will has an absolutely amazing story of endurance, pushing through, being a warrior, not letting his situation dictate who he is. And we truly know that y'all are about to be motivated. Will and guys, welcome to the show. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
So, Will, I love your shirt, Underdog.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So you've got a love for baseball and you've got a love for football. And can you kind of walk us through? Y'all are from Oklahoma. Can you kind of walk us through where that came from, how it all started?
Sure. Yes. I just remember from the age I could walk. I was never necessarily the best athlete, but one thing I loved to do was compete. No matter what we were doing, I did not want you to beat me. If I was going up against you in anything, I did not want to lose. And that started from watching my favorite team, the Arkansas Razorbacks. They, as some people might not know, they actually used to be really good in football. When we had the best running back in college football history, Darren McFadden. And we had some really good teams. We had one of the best receiving corps in the nation, Arkansas. And I always grown up a big Arkansas and New York Yankees fan. And no matter what I'm doing, I just love to compete and love to win. And I've never been the best person to be around whenever you lose.
I'm kind of sorry to hear that you're a Yankees fan. I myself am a huge Red Sox fan, so
Okay.
I won't hold it against you today.
Started a good note.
Will's not biased.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so you grew up and you love the sports. You're just competitive, no matter what. It can be badminton, and you're gonna win. And if you don't, you're gonna play again. Yeah. Okay. Where did let's talk baseball first. Where did your baseball? What did that look like for you for playing baseball?
Well, I played with a core group of guys pretty much my whole life up until middle school, and then high school we all went to play high school ball. And I've just always loved to compete in baseball. And My love for the Yankees began with actually my dad's dad was a big Mickey Mantle fan, and Mickey Mantle's from Commerce, Oklahoma, and he played for the Yankees and is a Yankee great. And so I grew up a Yankees fan, and my favorite player has always been Derek Jeter, just because how he carried himself. And now my favorite player is Aaron Judge, and that's how I grew my love for baseball.
Yeah, and you played baseball. Yeah. What did playing baseball? Did you play middle school, high school?
Yes. I played baseball all throughout pretty much the age I could walk. In middle school, I always played second. I played a little bit of third base. I just love baseball because whenever you were hitting, it was just you and the pitcher, and it was just a big competition every time you went up, because it's just mano y mano. And then I played my freshman year. I was able to play baseball, and then that was the last year I had the chance to play baseball.
Yeah, your dad's off to your right, and when you said mano y mano, his face just lit up. There's something about guys when you talk guy language that just make guys just be guys. that was awesome. Football. When did you start playing football?
Actually, I started playing football in 5th grade. I played in 5th and 6th grade. And then in baseball, in middle school, I pretty much just focused on baseball. Mm-hmm. And when I went into high school, I just decided, why not play football again? So I started playing football back again in 9th grade.
Okay. Hey, Mark, I know you got a few questions over there you wanted to ask too before you left.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, we'll go back to the Derek Jeter. So, although I'm a huge Red Sox fan, I do, and I did appreciate Derek Jeter as a player and as a person. I mean, great person to look up to for baseball. I mean, it's hard as a Red Sox player to say that about a Yankee player, but Derek Jeter and of course with Aaron Judge nowadays, it's a good people to look up to for sure. And so we talked about today's devotion about Will and not letting the things get you down and things like that. And even when things or life hits you real hard, we talked about how it may not feel like God's there and it's not fair and what he's doing isn't fair, but for you to keep that faith and for your family to keep all that faith going on, we found it really inspirational. And so what are some things that I guess kept you in that mindset of, yes, this really is something bad going on, but I'm keeping that faith?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to start off with a quote I heard the other day by P.J. Fleck, coach at the University of Minnesota for football. This quote says, "In life, there is no problems, only situations." And this quote relates so much to our walk with God, because there's going to be situations that might be harder than other situations. But does that mean your mindset just has to change during the situation? No. Because the awesome thing about God is you can walk into a room where it might be chaotic and whatever's going on might just not make sense, and you might be put in a situation that it just isn't fair. But with God, you can always smile through the storm. Because as my favorite verse, Jeremiah 29, verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future." And really the awesome thing about this is it's telling us the plans for us no matter what happens. And that's just what's given me peace no matter the situation. And there's been days where, I've beaten myself up. I've gotten mad at certain stuff. But, those days have made the next day even better, where, the next day where God's just giving me that chance. I get to wake up today. Just that mindset, God's given me an opportunity to go talk to someone today. God's given me this opportunity. Just the mindset of, God's given me an opportunity each and every day to help someone's life and to smile through the storm each and every day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How old are you, Will, again?
I am 18, turned 18 in July.
You have the mindset of a Christian that has been a Christian for 50 years. And I mean,
I was going to say the same thing. That mindset to have is it's great.
Yeah, and I mean it this way. Listen, people read that verse, and
thank you.
People read that verse all the time, and they rehearse it, and it never means anything to them. They just read it. It means something to you, and when you start applying the Bible to your heart, like you have, brother, you're going to be unstoppable. That is, like, I'm getting the goosebumps now, because when you say it from heart, but you say it and it means something to you, and I can tell by your facial expressions it means something to you, dude, that is huge. And we encourage our family, our Beyond Limits family, when y'all read the Bible, don't just read the Bible as a task. Read it as God talking to you individually, because that's the point. Will, that is huge stuff, and I applaud you. I know you don't take that, but God sees this. God sees it, and it is great. And some people don't even know what we're talking about now. So, can you walk us through last year and the football game, and how it got to where we are right now?
Yes, sir. So you're talking about whenever I start losing my vision?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going into my senior year right now, and it was our last game of my sophomore year, so December of 2018. It was our semifinal game. I'm not going to talk about the result of that game. So it was our semifinal game, and as the game was going on, I started to realize that the scoreboard was blurry, and I started having to ask my teammates what the score was. And as I was on the field, I started to realize that other players started to get blurry, and of course it was a little discouraging, and I was wondering what's going on. But in the back of my mind, I just thought, well, tomorrow I'll probably just go to a local eye doctor and they'll get it fixed. So the next day I go to the local eye doctor, and they don't know what's going on. So my mindset was, well, they're probably just not the best eye doctor. The next eye doctor will figure it out. So then from there on out, I went from eye doctor to eye doctor, and no one really knew what was going on. And this went on for 6 months. And I was going back to school after Christmas break and all that. And school got a lot harder. I could no longer see my papers and the words on the paper. I had to have pretty much everything read to me because I didn't have the tools yet to do schoolwork like a blind person would do it. And it was just a really discouraging time. But one thing I will tell you throughout this time is God really put some people in my life that prepared me to tell people what needed to be told, and prepared me to show people that you can always smile through the storm. And a verse that he's really shown me throughout that time was Proverbs 17:17, which says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for times of adversity." And he's shown me that through so many people that I don't even have time to talk about. And as I went throughout the 6 months period, from going doctor to doctor, we ended up figuring out that that these doctors just didn't have the resources to know what was going on. So a local friend told us that we just needed to figure out what was going on. So I went to the best of the best. I went to Johns Hopkins, which is the best eye clinic maybe in the nation. And within 2 hours, they figured out what my eye condition was, and it was called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. And whenever I heard this news, I was just smiling, because just going into this appointment, all the prayers and everything, I just felt a peace that I never felt before. And this was so much different than in all my other appointments, because in all my other appointments, I was just praying that my situation would change. But going into this appointment, my mindset was more of, God, can you change me as I go throughout this situation? Because in life, there's going to be hills, there's going to be valleys, but the thing that stays the same is our God. And that is why we can always smile through the storm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
So when you got finally diagnosed there at Johns Hopkins, what was kind of going through your mind at that point, as far as, what you thought your future would hold for you?
Yeah. So as I got diagnosed at Johns Hopkins, I was just smiling. Of course, there was still a little concern, wondering, man, how am I going to do schoolwork? Just a lot of wondering. We'd already started spring practice and all that, and I was just glad to be back out there with my team and everything. I didn't know necessarily how I was going to contribute to the team and all that, and of course I was still a little concerned. But one of my favorite things to watch on ESPN is the College Game Day stories, and one of my favorite stories is the story about Jake Olson, who was a blind long snapper from USC, and I don't. No coincidence that's my favorite story. I think that there's really a reason God placed this in my life, and that was my favorite story. So I really just feel like this situation more than anything has just blessed me. And sure, there's been times where I just prayed that God would take this away, because stuff can be so much harder. But God's definitely blessed me through those hard times.
Rand and Melissa, so what was I imagine that this is absolutely frustrating when it's doctor visit, and like no answers from a parent's perspective. And my wife's a pediatric nurse, and so we go. I can't imagine What did that look like for y'all as parents going through this process?
It was really tough. I mean, we still struggle with it today. I mean, sometimes I think Will's doing a lot better than we are.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've gotten better. To elaborate more on your question for Will, we started going doctor to doctor. It started out actually. Sometimes it's thrown out there that it was in a football game. It wasn't like a football injury.
Right.
It could be. I mean, we did everything you could possibly think of. People would come up to Melissa and I and say, "You need to go to this doctor. You need to do that. You need to do that." It's like, people, we have literally done everything you could possibly, anything you guys could think about, we tried it.
They told us it could be stress. So we put him on anxiety medication. We put him in counseling. We tried a chiropractor. We tried everything in our power. And
we did two MRIs to check his brain to make sure there wasn't a tumor, head injury, anything like that. We started out with a just regular optometrist. Will didn't even come to us after, everyone talks about the football game. Mm-hmm. Will didn't come to us after a football game and say I couldn't see. It was the next morning. He was in the kitchen working on homework. He never even brought it up. I guess maybe in his mind he thought it would just subside. He didn't even bring it up. And then it's a Saturday morning. He was in the kitchen on his school issued laptop, and his nose was practically touching the screen. And I thought, man, dude, that's something not right. Yeah. And I said, let's go and see if you need, I wasn't even concerned. I said, let's just see if you need glasses or contacts. I mean, he played on a highly competitive baseball team for 8 to 10 years. I mean, he had 20/20 vision. And I thought, well, he just needs contacts or glasses. Let's do that. So we go to an optometrist, and he says, I can't get a reading on his eyes. I'm like, what? I mean, what are you talking about? You can't get a reading on his eyes. I thought, this guy, Will and I are looking at each other like, this guy didn't know what he's talking about. Let's get out of here. So we try to find a better, optometrist in Tulsa. Go to him. He tells us something. Then we didn't feel real comfortable. So we said, who is the best pediatric ophthalmologist in the Tulsa metro area? It's the larger metropolitan area that we live in. And they told us. We went to him. He said, I could go on and on about what he said. A great guy, by the way. He's very, very well respected in this community. But he had no idea. We went to him for several months. He died. Then we went to Dean McGee Eye Institute in Oklahoma City, one of the top clinic in Oklahoma. They figured out. We went to a neuro-ophthalmologist. He couldn't figure it out. I mean, we knew at this point it wasn't good. So to answer your question about the Johns Hopkins visit, I think Will was probably at peace just because we knew it wasn't good. So we were already prepared. We were just happy to finally have an answer, and they knew right away what it was. And they showed us pictures that no one else had shown us. I mean, these people are true professionals, and they knew exactly what they were doing. And to take it a step further, Will's eye doctor, his ophthalmologist at Johns Hopkins, we love this guy, by the way. He told us, hey, we want to see Will every 6 months. You can come. I can find a doctor in your hometown. And Melissa said, no way. No way. Yeah. So we're flying Will back to Johns Hopkins. Now it's every once a year, but we're not going to anyone else.
Yeah. You just have things so rare, and it's not any, I don't even know, it's 1 in 50,000 people. So it's just something very rare, and it's nobody's fault. And God had a plan for why we would walk through it the way that we did, and we drew closer to him through it. Do I want to do it again? No.
Yeah.
But would I be in my relationship with Christ like I am now if I hadn't? No, probably not. So it's what he had planned, and we have to accept it even though we don't like it all the time.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. You talked about how lots of friends and family and people were telling you to go to this doctor, go talk to this person. Who, or I guess, how did you find out about the Johns Hopkins themselves specifically, and how did you guys end up there?
It was actually my stepfather. My stepfather sat down with me. He saw sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, you're fine. Keep going.
He saw the frustration on mine and Melissa's face, and he just sat down with me one day, and he said, listen, you as parents, I know you've done everything you can possibly do. But he said, here's the one thing, the one area you've gone wrong. He said, you're focusing in the Oklahoma market. And he said, no disrespect to the doctors, the medical profession, but it's not, I mean, it's a smaller market. They don't see as much. You need to step it up. And he gave us a baseball analogy. He said, you're in the minor leagues right now, you need to step up to the major leagues. So we basically circled the 3 top ophthalmology clinics in America. And we said, first one we can get into, that's where we're going. And so it was my stepfather that told us, and we thought, that's a great idea. And I'm so glad he did that.
Yeah. I texted Pastor Casey after everything got worked out, and so we were talking about it. And in between, he sent me the YouTube video that was really well edited. I don't know who did the editing work on that YouTube video. That was smooth. Whoever did that, so kudos to them.
Music minister at church, and he is outstanding.
That's wonderful.
And putting stuff together.
Yeah.
He is. That was for a praise and worship service last November. He put that together to show.
Yeah. Well, let him know. It was awesome.
Yeah, we might have to get his number.
Yes, he's good.
Yeah, get him on the team. But I told Pastor Casey after I watched that, I sent him a text message, and he should have still have it. But I said, I'm a youth pastor. This isn't how kids normally talk and act. They're not going to be giving praise to God. They're not going to be. This is. I said, and that don't just happen. You know, that happens from proper parenting. That happens from somebody pushing God into them. Hey, when things are bad, God is good. When things are great, God is good. And y'all have done a phenomenal job with that. I mean, an absolutely phenomenal job. So once again, I know y'all don't accept, thank you, but I just want you to know that's rare. And so that is very admirable. So what does the outlook from where we're at right now going forward, what does it look like for you, Will, moving forward as far as the diagnosis?
The diagnosis with my eyes, right now, is supposed to stay the same. They could obviously find a cure maybe in the next 10 years or so, but who knows what will happen with that. But right now I'm just focused on learning how to do everything differently in school. I've learned how to type on a computer where it speaks to me. I've learned how to use a calculator where it speaks to me. And I'm just learning how to do everything normally because as one of my good buddies, Hunter Woodhull, who runs track at the University of Arkansas, and he has no legs, he once said, in life, sometimes some stuff might get taken away from you, but you can still do everything you want to do if you just put your mind to it, no matter what you have and what you don't have. And he doesn't have any legs, so he said, well, the doctors told me I wouldn't be able to walk again, so I just ran instead. And so pretty much moving on forward, my goal still is to go to the University of Arkansas because that's always been my goal. And I don't know what I'm going to do up there, but I'm going to train to make a difference at the University of Arkansas. And I'm going to finish out my senior year at Rejoice playing football, and we're pumped up for this year and just see where God takes it. And me and one of my close friends are working on starting a nonprofit soon. We still got to work out some details for that called Smile Through the Storm Ministries. We still have to work out some stuff for that. But pretty much what it will do is it will give resources to kids who have vision loss and they might not have the money or resources to get the materials that they need in the classroom or mobility services.
Okay, and that was Smile Through the Storm. Do y'all have a Facebook page or any of that set up yet?
That will be coming soon.
Okay, Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Let us know. That's something we definitely want to plug out because that's going to be a huge help.
We will.
Yeah,
Mark,
for sure. Yeah, I heard that you had a great opportunity, I guess, at the University of Arkansas recently. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So, actually, yeah, cool story. So the week after I got back from my doctor's appointment at Johns Hopkins, I'm out in the driveway with my good friend Drew Ashford, and we were just chilling out there. And then my mom brought me my phone. Then I got a call from Arkansas number, so I answer it. It's Coach Chad Morris, who was the football coach of Arkansas last year, and he said, "Hey, Will, it's Coach Chad Morris." And I thought it was a prank since I live in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma people are always joking about Arkansas and everything. And he said that that they were all thinking about me and that they were all there for me, and he told me to come to practice sometime and everything, and just how much he cared about me. Well, that just brought me to tears. I'm not a really emotional person. That just brought me to tears. So then I went to a practice, and I thought we were just going to hang out over there. And then he asked me to speak to the team, which I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe he did that. And I was fortunate enough to be able to speak to the football team, and those guys were just great. I could mention all those guys, but Ryan, some of my guys on the team, Ryan Winkle, Trey Knox, there's so many of those guys that, man, those are just some awesome guys, and I wish nothing but the best for them this year. And to follow back up on Coach Morris, they actually did not have the best year last year. Coach Morris, he was a great guy. He genuinely cared about me. You can just tell with Coach Morris. And he didn't win football games last year. But the thing about Coach Morris is he stayed the same person. And that's what's motivated me. Because he smiled through the storm throughout. They didn't win that much last year. But he stayed the same person and was still there for me. And now he's at Auburn, and we still communicate. He's still the same person because he knows where his hope comes from. And he's just been a huge motivation to me, even though he might have lost. And what the world sees, he's going to be a winner always to me.
And I want to add something, not necessarily trying to plug people, but Coach Morris has been instrumental. There's been a few people that have been instrumental. He got let go at Arkansas, which was kind of devastating for us because Will was going to go to Arkansas and help out with the football team. It wasn't a scholarship or anything like that, but help out. And Coach Morris told him, and so kind of got his hopes up a little bit there. But he's now Coach Morris is at Auburn as an OC at Auburn, and he since wrote Will a handwritten letter, which, boy, you talk about emotional. Reading this letter, it's something else. A grown man, write my son a letter, basically telling him how his situation, watching Will handle his situation, helped him through adversity in his life. And you're sitting back and you're thinking, man, this guy's a college football coach. And that's pretty amazing. Then you really open your eyes and you see he really is making a difference. And Coach Morris doesn't realize what he's done for Will, but he looks at it as what Will's done for him. And that's pretty amazing. He's actually asked Will to come to Auburn, but with the whole COVID deal, we were trying desperately, but you can't even get on campus right now, general public. So we want to the first opportunity we get.
Yeah, that's incredible. You were so the beginning of last year you were a linebacker, correct? In that role.
Yeah. Yes.
And so now you've been moved to
nose guard.
Okay. Walk through that. How do you how does that work for you? Because your sight is within 2 feet. Is that correct?
Yeah. So all I can see really on the field is the ball. Whoever it's snapped, I just shoot my gap and fill up a gap. And if people are coming, like maybe a jab them or something, knock them over, get them on the ground, create lanes for other people to run through and make a tackle, or if I can tell someone's right there to tackle them. Funny story. Last year, our first game, so this kid was running a screen, and he was right. He was the only guy on the field I could see. I thought he had the ball, so I just went and tackled him, and he didn't have the ball. So he gets up and was saying some stuff to me, and I thought he had the ball, so I was kind of hyped up because I thought I just got myself my first TFL. But,
yeah, that's fun.
Awesome. That's good. So I guess you talked about going to college and Auburn might be a possibility, Arkansas, things like that. So is obviously you're playing football your last season. So is this pretty much your last season football, or is there hopes that maybe, you can try out for a team in college and try and play?
This will more than likely be my last season, yes.
I don't think at 200 pound we'll do it at nose guard.
Well, some of those D1 schools are definitely sure at putting some weight on them and getting them to the right size.
Yeah, they'll get them up to size. ECU. Hey, so we're a college town. We got ECU, East Carolina University here. I'm almost certain they would take you. I am almost certain they would need you this year. So,
Right. We have a lot of ECU fan followers, I'm sure, and I don't mean any disrespect to the current team. We are rebuilding the last couple years, but definitely I think your talents could be used here.
Right.
For sure.
And now I've got to bleep out that whole section. They're not going to know what in the world you're saying. We love ECU. No, we truly, we do love ECU. Yeah.
Love it,
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously wonderful school. But they did just cut for COVID. They sent all the students back home this week. So, hey, I'm going to throw something out there. And I'm going to tell you that it's probably not going to make any sense to you right now, Will. But as somebody who wished that they'd have taken more pictures in, like, Iraq and stuff to look back, have you ever thought about writing a book?
Yes, I have, actually. Yes, I have. I thought of some names, too. But I don't really want to throw those out there yet, but I've thought of some names.
Yeah, absolutely. You should. If it's a 1 in 50,000 thing, not many people are going through it. And out of that 1 in 50,000, I would count maybe on two hands people who are going through it as you are, like a warrior, and giving all glory to God throughout the process. I'm telling you, man, I would read that book. I would plug that book. I would sell that book. That book would sell because people need that. People need hope. And that leads me to the question of there's going to be people who are going to watch this today that are walking into a hospital room, whether they're visiting their parents or they're going for themselves. They're walking into a hospital room and they need hope. They need a message. They need something. Is there something that you could say, or something that you would tell them right now that is just, hey, this is my experience and how I can help you out?
Yes. What I would say to them is 4 words, but I'm not going to say one of the words. This is from one of my biggest motivators. His name's Casey O'Brien. He has cancer and plays football at the University of Minnesota. These are wake up, kick butt, repeat. And it might be easy. It might look easy for me to say this right now, sitting in my chair. Life seems pretty good, and there might be a time where you're going into that cancer room, or you're going into that tough spot where it seems like no one likes you. You messed up, you did this, or whatever's going on. But you know what? The great thing about God is he always gives us grace, and we always have a chance with God, no matter if we're on our deathbed or wherever. Because even if you're on your deathbed, even if you're at the lowest of lows, just think about it like this. If one person comes to Christ, it's all worth it. So that's why I encourage you to smile through the storm, because you don't know who you can impact. Because there will be a day where, I never know when can be my last day. That's why this is the day. This could be my last chance to ever talk. Who knows? And this could be your last chance to ever watch this video. But the great thing about it is that's just an opportunity as itself. That's just an opportunity for you to go show someone that you can always smile through the storm, knowing Jesus as your Lord and Savior. And that's why with Jesus, really, you can never be defeated. Oh yeah, there might be times where you get down. There might be Dragos in your life that knock you down for a little bit, but just get back up like Rocky and say, no, not today, Drago. I'm not going down.
I immediately got the reference when he said Drago. I love that.
That's
shirt.
it.
You are wise beyond I can't fathom that we're talking to like this.
Now,
Good job.
I will tell you, mother, he is not perfect.
Yeah.
But I will tell you also as his mother that I look up to him, because I, a young man, I see him at his lowest of his lows. And you know who I see him turn to? His relationship with Christ. If he gets down, he is pumping that praise music, and he'll let it out. He will lament. With something I've learned through this process is how to lament. God wants us to share with him how we feel, and this boy does it. But the next day, it's a new day, and he is living for the most part, what he speaks.
Yeah.
Do I know that he doesn't make his bed and he does all other stuff? Yes. But I'm so proud of him. And things like this and letting him share, it builds him up. This is good for him.
That's awesome. And I don't mean to give him more motivation, but I didn't make my bed either when I was 18. So.
Wait,
and my mom, she'll comment below, I'm sure, and she'll tell you that, yep, I didn't make it when I was 18. And I'm glad you talked about that, Melissa, a little bit as far as how you learn how to lament during the situation. That was my next question, kind of leading to that is, what did you guys pull away from this experience? And if you could share something, some type of knowledge like that with other parents who may have a son or daughter going through something that seems very tough in their life right now, what is something that you could give some advice to them for them listening today?
That is my number one thing, was that God wants me to share all my feelings. And I told him so many times, please give it to me. I'll take it, not my son. And how to lament and let him know how I feel. And he always provided somebody or something to intercede, whether it was something I read in the Bible, or he would provide people that I didn't know very well that just would surround me and love me, giving me a book to read, or saying, let's go have some coffee. Somebody would give me a gift card. I mean, just the way he provides in those times is something I've never experienced in my life. And now I feel like I have more compassion for others going through things. I can say, I don't understand what you're going through, and I'm sorry. And I wish it was different, but I know God's still good, and he will always be good. Even if I don't like my situation, he's still good.
That is almost verbatim the devotion that we did today. Man,
it's awesome, right?
Beyond Limits family, that is God is so good. If people want to follow you, follow your story, do you have a page yet? You're going to need one. I don't know if you know that yet. You're going to need a page dedicated to this. But how can they follow your story from here on out? Because I can guarantee that people are going to want to keep tabs and check up on you.
From here on out, people can follow me on Instagram. It's Will, WILL_Lambley, LAMBLEY. And I've also done some videos on TikTok. I haven't done any videos recently. They're not like those dancing videos or anything. Talk about
come on now,
real life stuff. And I haven't done any videos recently. I don't know if I'll get back on that. My TikTok name is just Will Lambley. And then I also have a Twitter. I'm not really sure what my name is, but and yeah, that's how they can follow me. And then we'll be starting this nonprofit sometime probably in the next upcoming months. We're discussing details.
And that is Smile Through the Storm.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Smile Through the Storm Ministries.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted on that nonprofit, and we'll definitely give you a plug for sure.
Absolutely. Beyond Limits family, thank y'all very much. You have kept right off to my left is producer Macy, and I can gauge how the conversation is going off of her reactions. She can't tell that I'm looking at her, but I can, and so she's been shaking her head the whole time. And you have a faith that many people will never reach in their entire lives, and that is huge. And we applaud that faith. We applaud what God is doing through you. Don't ever lose that. Write the book. People need to hear it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. More people than you'll ever know need to hear that on a daily basis, for sure.
Go ahead, Will. Yeah.
Hey, can I finish off one more thing?
Go ahead.
Okay, you said, I really think that anyone, I don't think this faith is special. I really believe anyone can have, what I have at times, because, I mean, some people don't see, some days I do have low days, but the great thing about faith is really anyone can have it, because every day, in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. As a guy that was on his deathbed said, Jimmy Valvano. So,
yeah,
everyone good.
I've been taking notes over here the whole time just so I could put it in the title. So I look down. It looks like we're not looking at the camera, but you're right. I can see you right below. So I got all sorts of notes about Coach Morris and Will Lambley on Twitter, and he likes to do breakdance videos on TikTok. And
right. Yep.
Does that make any sense to y'all? Melissa and Rand, I mean, they'll just be standing there, and then all of a sudden they're breakdancing. You're like, what is happening?
We have a 14-year-old daughter, and she would like us to do them with her, I think. We're not joining in.
We're not dancers.
Can't see some of the stuff like girls at my school and stuff.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you guys very much for coming on with us, taking time out of your what is today? Thursday, Friday morning. It is Friday morning. Taking time out of your Friday morning to be with us right now, that makes no sense. I'll explain it in a second. And you know, you guys have been great, inspirational. Beyond Limits family, we hope Mark and I. You're on this way. Right. Mark and I hope. On this side. Yeah, it's all everything. You're normally here. Mark and I hope
backwards. I know it's okay. I'm sorry.
that you have a great weekend. If you are in the path of the hurricane, we hope that you are staying safe in the middle of the country. Who'd have thought that? But staying safe, staying out of harm's way. Have a good weekend. Next weekend is Labor Day weekend, so summer is winding down. Have a wonderful weekend. We love you guys. Make sure that down below you comment, like, share, and subscribe, and follow Will and his story. You can follow him at Will, WILL_Lambley, LAMBLEY. We're going to put that down in the comment section, so all you're going to have to do is tap it, and you're going to be directed to him. Guys, thank you so much for being on. Beyond Limits family, have a great weekend. We love you.
Have a good weekend. We love you. Bye.
Bye.